Natalie Cutler-Welsh here, and I'm back with another conscious conversation. Today, I'm going to be talking to Lisa. Hey, Lisa Reardon, welcome.
Hello, Natalie. Good to see you.
So, Lisa, you are a EFT and quantum EFT practitioner, over 20 years experience. You and I were chatting. So here's the thing. Today, you guys, we're going to be talking about clearing negative love beliefs. Very exciting. Lisa and I were chatting a couple of weeks back because I'm doing my matchmaking business now, which is also very exciting. She told me about this research that she'd come across around clearing love beliefs. And I was like, let's do a recording. Let's talk about it. So, can you give us a little bit of context around that?
Right. So I found the work of Lindsay Kenny, and she has done a little ebook called The Five Fatal Flaws for Finding Love. That's actually quite hard to say. And she also is an EFT practitioner. So what I really liked is that she's presenting the common blocks to attracting the love we want, but also what you can do about it. So that's why I let Natalie know about this. And whether it's of interest to people, because what we got carrying around in our past, from past partners, unless we clear that, it can get in the way of actually us attracting in the love we really want.
Absolutely. And with my Match Me, it's part of my whole thing that I'm doing is helping people to find love, but it's for relationship ready singles
Mm.
and it's referral only. So that kind of niches it down. But the relationship ready piece is really interesting because I do come across a few people that say, I love what you're doing, sounds amazing. I'll let you know when I'm ready, or I'm not quite ready yet. And so that's really what we're focusing on today. And even people that think they are ready, sometimes there are negative love beliefs that are holding them back. Even sometimes what I've noticed is that when I go to now match somebody, meaning I send the information to the woman, like, here's a guy, I think he's a great match for you. I do send photo, first name, some of the questionnaire, even a voice message, because I always meet them in person. So I've got my take. Some of them get really nervous. Like it's intimidating and exciting at the same time, but all these negative beliefs can come up. So, do you want to talk us through maybe these five common blocks, and then we can dive into what we can do about it?
Absolutely. All right. So the first one that Lindsay has come up with is holding on to past hurts. So that could be grief, loss, heartache, anger, shame, trauma, fear. So there's a whole lot of what we call those low vibration emotions that unless we clear those consciously, we can say, yes, yes, I'm over that. But actually, our bodies still hold on to the memory of that. So that's the first one, holding on to past hurts. And the second one is holding on to limiting beliefs and fears about love. So let's say I had two previous partners who cheated on me. So I now form the belief that all men cheat on me. So that in itself can be a block, of course. So it's worth exploring what are your limiting beliefs and fears about relationships. There can also be a part that you mentioned fear. It's like, actually, I want to connect with someone, but I'm fearful. So there's that protective part. So that's worth looking at as well. The third one that Lindsay speaks about is seeking someone based on shallow or physical characteristics only. So just that surface level stuff. And there's nothing wrong with wanting something easy on the eye. But what she's talking about for lasting relationships is where you're getting into the core values, you've got a complementary energy style, that sort of thing. So looking at what are you what are your filters, if you like, for what you're looking for? Is it shallow? Is it just based on physical attributes? Or is it looking more at their ethics, beliefs, values, that sort of deeper stuff, which is not as easy to change? And then number four, she talks about focusing on what you don't want. Because like, oh, whatever it is, I don't want that. I don't want an alcoholic or, whatever. So she's got some work she can, some exercises that she's come up with how to explore that. And then the last one she talks about, which I think is really important, is pretending to be someone you're not.
Mm.
And personally, I admit that I've done this, is I wanted people to think I was really smart or I don't know, super funny. But at some point, we drop that sort of, if it's a false self, we
I think you're
can't keep
smart and
that up.
super funny.
Oh, thank
I know you are.
you. We can't keep that up forever. So, look, it might be someone who's splashing cash around and wanting to appear like they're really rich, but they're actually really not. So, for a lasting relationship, it needs to be authentic. It's like, can I show up as myself? So that's the basic categories, and then she expands on all of those.
So interesting. Okay. So for those of you that are listening, and if you want to up your brave and comment, you can let us know which of those, and you can even just put number 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, which of those resonates for you. Like you're like, oh gosh, yeah, that's my limiting belief. You don't have to share, but if you want to, go ahead. I forgot to mention that, Lisa, I'm so excited. You've got a interview coming up on Reality Check Radio next week. So if depending on when people are watching this, they can go check it out as well. I feel like from that list, which is super interesting, I feel like I'd love to dive a little deeper into number 1 or 2, because I feel they'll be really common for people. Definitely the holding on to past hurts. Something you said was that we hold it and our body holds on, even if we think we've moved on. Can you talk to me about that? And okay, so if the body holds on, how do we let that
Yes.
go?
Yeah, no, good question. And that's why I got into emotional freedom techniques, which is it's a stress relieving tool that by tapping on the acupressure points, it tells the body that it's safe to release whatever's attached to that memory. So this is your conscious mind, our head, our thinking, but our unconscious mind is our body. So that's why you can only go so far consciously, that unless you actually let the body release the memory, it's going to keep playing out in your life. So that's why you can only get so far sometimes. So let's say, for past hurts, you know, um, heartache from a bad breakup.
Mm.
So you could consciously go, oh, right, I'm not wasting any more time on that. I'm going to be positive. I'm going to move forwards. But the body's hurting. The body might have an actual memory of how the breakup happened. So that's where EFT can actually be used to just honor the truth of what's in the body. So, would you like me to lead through a couple of
I
tapping
actually
rounds?
do. I would love you to do a little demo because I feel like it'll just showcase, show people what that means, because some people will not know what tapping is. But
Sure.
yeah, if you can just do that
Yes.
impromptu.
Okay. So, for those of you not familiar with EFT, with emotional freedom techniques, so we tap on the side of the hand for the first three phrases. And what that is just to honor the truth of what's there. So let's say it's a breakup. I'm just using that as an example. No, anyone in the audience, tune into what's relevant to you. It doesn't have to be exact what I'm saying right now. So for yourself, if you can remember a painful breakup, then tune into your body. Where do you feel that in your body? And then if there was an emotion, what is that? And you can rate it also out of 10. 0 is nothing, and 10 is the strongest of that emotion you can feel. So 3 phrases on the side of the hand, and then the points are very quickly top of head, where the start of the eyebrow is, the side of the eye on the bone, under the eye, under the nose, in the crease of the chin. The collarbone is, if you go down where the end of the collarbone is, down the breastbone about 2.5 centimeters, and then in 2.5 centimeters, there's a little divot there. And then the under the arm point is a hand's width from your armpit. So basically, it's just lightly tapping with your fingers. So it's like emotional acupuncture, really. So we're using acupressure points, but we're not using needles. So do you want to do a copy after me? So what I'll do is I'll say the phrases and you repeat it
Okay.
after me, and we'll just do a couple of rounds so people can experience it. So do you want to, actually, I'm putting you on the spot. Have you got a painful relationship
Actually, I
that,
do have one. It's funny. My first thought was, oh, I barely have any breakups, but I'm only considering the fact that I was the breaker upper. But I do. So that's still a breakup, though. But that's
yes,
interesting.
yeah.
I know. But so the one that comes to mind is when I was in grade 10. So let's say I'm 15, in
Mhm.
Canada, and I did have a boyfriend break up with me. Well, not really. He just kind of like ghosted me at a dance, and we never really talked again, and it was over. So there was really like a nothing about it. But this like is still, I'm still like, I don't really know why.
Okay, great. So where are you feeling that in your body?
Oh, in my heart,
In your heart. And how big is that feeling? 0 to 10.
like a two.
Okay. What's the main emotion?
Sadness.
Sadness. Okay. Tapping on the side of the hand and repeat after me. Even though I've got this 2 out of 10 sadness in my heart,
Even though I've got this 2 out of 10 sadness in my heart.
he just ghosted me at the school. Was it a ball? A school dance?
School dance. He just ghosted me at the school dance,
And I don't know why.
and I don't know why.
It was years ago,
It was years ago,
but I'm still feeling it in my body.
but I'm still feeling it in my body,
And I'm open to letting that go.
and I'm open to letting that go.
Even though I got ghosted at the school dance,
Even though I got ghosted at the school dance.
I don't know why he didn't turn up.
I don't know why. Well, he was there, but I don't
Oh,
know why he ignored me.
I don't know why he ignored me. And part of me is holding on to the sadness,
And part of this is holding on to the sadness,
and I'm open to letting it go.
and I'm open to letting it go.
Even though this relationship just stopped,
Even though this relationship just stopped,
he ignored me.
he ignored me.
I've got this sadness in my heart,
I've got this sadness in my heart,
and it's time to let it go now.
and it's time to let it go now.
The sadness in my heart, top of head.
The sadness in my heart.
It happened a long time ago.
It happened a long time ago.
He just ignored me at the dance.
He just ignored me at the dance.
The sadness in my heart's been there a long time.
The sadness in my heart has been there a long time.
I'm open to letting that go now.
I'm open to letting that go now.
It no longer serves me.
It no longer serves me.
I want to let it go now.
I want to let it go now.
I'll never understand why he ignored me,
I'll never understand why he ignored me,
but I don't want it affecting me now going forwards.
but I don't want it affecting me now going forwards.
So obviously that's just a sense of a general round. You would tune into your body. What are you noticing? What are you feeling in your heart? It was a very quick round. So what are you feeling? Is any shifts there?
A little bit calmer actually.
Yeah.
And would
So
you
you can,
normally do a couple of rounds of that?
oh yes. So yes, normally, so in a whole hour session, you can imagine how much we could clear of
Yeah.
past memories. Like,
Yeah.
we would get through quite a few. It is worth working specifically on specific memories
Mm.
instead of just all these bad relationships,
Mm-hmm.
because that's a little bit like just trimming the grass instead of pulling the weed out.
Would
It's
you say
really
it's
worth getting.
important to go back to, because I've had 5 serious relationships in my life, and so is it important to go back to the furthest one, or can you want somebody choose any?
Yeah, well, what you could do is do yourself a timeline and get your emotional score for each of them. And I would suggest if you feel up to doing it by yourself, you may or may not be able to clear it all by yourself, but clear the one that's speaking to you the loudest. So it might be the first time you had your heart broken, it might be the most recent time, or it might be the most traumatic time. So it actually doesn't matter where you start. But going specific really will make a difference rather than just banging on bad relationships like a tabletop, as if you're just banging on the top of the table. Yeah.
I think it's so interesting because this is a topic I feel that most people, if not everybody, can relate to having some limiting love beliefs or negative love beliefs, and how that can affect their current relationships. Not everyone is looking for love, like my Match Me business, but everyone is either in a relationship or has come out of one or is not ready for a new one, or they are ready for a new one. I think this is something that can help everybody. And one of the reasons I really am intrigued by it, EFT and other embodiment practices, is it's not just rehashing verbalizing. That's all this that you were talking about. It's not just rehashing what happened and he did this and she said that. It's actually allowing the body to feel, number one. And we often say you have to feel to heal, and then releasing it through this tapping technique. So are you saying, so even if we said the words but we didn't tap, it would not have the same power? Yes.
You can imagine tapping. That's the thing, is because we're energetic beings, you can imagine tapping, which still works actually. They're measuring the amount of stress hormones in the saliva from actual tapping to, imagining you're tapping on those points. So, you know, that yeah, that works as well.
So somebody might do that if they were at, let's say, a business conference or at a meeting and they started feeling panicky about something
Mm.
had triggered them, and they can just start imagining it. I imagine you'd have to have done it a few times to be able to imagine it, but maybe not.
Well, yes. I mean, we didn't discuss this, but there are actually, you can tap on the hand points, which is the nail bed. If you have your hand this way
Mm.
and tapping on the top nail bed, so right by the nail bed of your fingers,
Mhm.
those points correspond to those tapping points I just showed you on the face and upper body. So you could be sitting in a meeting, if you're getting triggered by the sound of the voice, that could be, oh, that reminds me of my ex-boyfriend,
Mhm.
which logically makes no sense, but the body's going, yeah, it's just like him. So you can be tapping on those right by the nail bed of your fingers. We actually miss the ring finger because it's on the other side. But that's another sneaky way you can be tapping surreptitiously and nobody will know, and that works.
So interesting. Okay, so that was when we were talking about past, holding on to past hurts of a breakup.
Mm.
Something else I want to mention. So just the other day, I did a conscious conversation with Stacey Taylor, which was awesome. And what really came up was not feeling safe. Is that something that you see, I guess, in your, I know you do a lot of EFT with addiction and other things as well, but let's keep it on the love topic for now. Do you feel like that's something that comes up a lot with people around love, is not feeling safe?
Absolutely. Of course, you've got at one end of the spectrum where someone has been physically, mentally, emotionally abused. And of course, that's traumatic. So that is trauma, right? Uh, and through to that almost codependent, walking on eggshells. I have to slightly be careful about how I say things in case it sets them off. Or that could be a pattern from childhood, like dad was a rageaholic, used to lose his temper and shout. So I learned I probably might attract a man like that. This isn't my story, by the way, but you attract what's unhealed in you, so you maybe attract a partner like that. But again, unless you work on those earlier memories, in this case with a child, that it wasn't safe to speak up. So I have to be a good girl, so there's a whole lot of beliefs that can be formed. And the work we do in healing limiting beliefs, looking at the limiting beliefs and the fears, is really acknowledging that there's a part of our body that is wanting to keep us safe. It's done a really good job. It was born at a time where it's going, no, it's not safe to date. Like, we're just going to keep you safe. No, don't get on social media and swipe anywhere. I don't know what happens these days. But yeah, definitely it's really worth looking at the limiting beliefs and fears, because that's the truth of what's going on. And that's where there's such scope for healing, like true healing, where, like, we didn't come here on this planet to feel scared and not truly live.
Mm.
So it's really worth doing the work of healing those fears and limiting beliefs, just so we can be fully enjoying being here. Yeah.
Why is it that we would attract somebody like you were saying, if you grew up with a rageaholic dad, why would we attract that? Is it so that we can learn and heal and move on as a human evolving, or why is
Well,
that?
we could get into some deep things around life purpose and soul contract, that out of contrast, for me personally, I'll own this, out of contrast, I've learnt the most. But
Mhm.
also, if you think about for a child, the first 7 years, they're in that brain wave of almost like a deep meditation for most of the time. So everything that happens to them is just goes in. There's no filters there. They adopt beliefs. They learn what they learn. They're like sponges. So that's where the formative beliefs, the deep core beliefs are laid down. So let's say there was an example of a raging dad. The child learns this is normal. So unconsciously, they'll attract what they know.
Comment below if you desire. Is this something you've heard of before? How are you? Is this intriguing to you? If you have done EFT, how have you found it for you? We'd love to know. Comment below. We'll come back. We will comment on your comments. We want to keep the conversation going. This is a conscious conversation, which means, we're awake, we're aware, we're curious, we're learning. We don't have all the answers, but we definitely have a lot of questions. And I love that we're talking about love because love is one of the highest frequencies. That is one of the reasons I added the matchmaking to my business, is because I'm here to raise the frequency on the planet. And a lot of the times I do that through sharing the wisdom of other people with the world through my interviews, also with my essential oils. By the way, rose is the highest frequency oil. But love in terms of emotions is quite high frequency. So obviously it's a really important thing. Lisa, I'm going to wrap it up. I wanted to ask you, um, one more thing. Oh, yes, you've recently done some international podcasts and things like that. Can you just tell me a little bit about that and where people can find it and find you?
Sure. So a couple of months ago, I was interviewed on the 24 Hours of Tapping with Jean Monterastelli on EFT and grief. So that is on Jean Monterastelli's website
Yeah, good
on
luck spelling
YouTube.
that, everybody.
Yeah, yeah. If you have a go at the first few letters, it should pop up. And I also have been interviewed on my website. Sorry, yeah, I will have my new website. On my YouTube channel, I do have some interviews where I've been talking about quantum EFT, which is EFT for the soul, and also EFT for cravings. So there's a couple of interviews there. One thing, if I can quickly mention, you're talking about love,
Yeah.
is also self-love. So a lot of that is not seeking outside validation. I think it's really important. That's the beauty of doing this work, is actually really coming back and falling in love with ourselves. And once we set that bar really high, then we start to attract what we really deserve.
Absolutely. And I'm a big believer in that. If you don't love yourself, how can you love somebody else? If there are people out there that are thinking, I don't know what my limiting belief is around love. So is that something where they can chat with you and just tell you a few stories and it's like, boom, like other people can see it clear as day. Sometimes we can't see it in ourselves, right?
Yes, I know that's a great question. And a little exercise, if people wanted to flush out what their limiting beliefs are, is I haven't found my ideal partner because, and just list it down. And don't critique it as you're writing, just write all of that down. And that is what will expose what your limiting beliefs and fears are. And then you can be working on those limiting beliefs. Is this actually true? Where did I learn that? Whose voice is that? So then you can start to unpack each of those. You know, I I'll never find a man who lives in the same town that I live in. Limiting belief. Is it true? Might be. But then it might be, does it have to be someone who lives in the same town? That's where you can start to crack. Do I still want to believe this to be true? Well, yes, no. Yes, so that's something. And then also adding in that I just haven't met my ideal partner yet. And that's what opens up possibility. So it's
Beautiful.
shaking all those limiting beliefs and fears to open up to something wonderful.
Okay. And where can people find you? And if they want help with the EFT and their love beliefs, what can they do about it?
Sure. So my website is eftserenity.co.nz. And if you go to the bookings tab, there's a connection call. You can book a free 15-minute chat and we can find out what you want to work on. I'd be honored to work with you.
Amazing. So love as well as, is it grief, loss, and addiction? Those are your specialties
Yes,
as well.
trauma, because they're all very interconnected. So I'm trauma informed trained and specialty in grief and addiction, which includes a lot of anxiety, trauma. Yes, so
And I can see how
okay.
that can also come into love. Some people are addicted to, um,
Ah,
to different things, not necessarily substances, just habits and things as well. Amazing. Thank
yes.
you so much, Lisa. And for those of you that want to find out about my Match Me business, you can go to matchme.co.nz. It's also on the homepage of my upyourbrave.com website. I'm Up Your Brave on socials. And I just started Match Me underscore matchmaking on Instagram. So if you're on Insta, please follow me there. It literally just started. Lisa, where can they find you on socials?
I can I give you the details to add in as
Yeah,
links?
perfect. I'll put them down in the comments. And
Would that
also, Lisa and I are on YouTube as well. All right. Awesome, everyone. Thanks so much. We look forward to seeing your comments on this conscious conversation.